Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am the CEO and the founder of Madaraka Festival. I am also the host of Madaraka Festival podcast here on YouTube. We are recording today's episode live and direct at the Seattle Drum School of Music in Seattle, Washington. Today is really special for me because I get to bring you another new guest for the show. Our guest today is Victoria
Musyoki.
Victoria is an incredible entrepreneur. Victoria is the founder of two companies that we are going to talk about in a moment. Victoria is also an incredible mom. We might talk about that a little bit, but I'm just excited for you to learn how Victoria started her companies in Kenya and how she's running them from here in Seattle, even though the businesses are in Kenya, and what stories she's going to share with us to inspire you so that you can also, overcome the fear of starting your own business. No matter where you are, you can do something similar. So without further ado, I want to bring to you Victoria. I want us to talk first about some of the colors, some of the sounds, and some of the smells that you grew up with that when you look back, when you're 5 to 10 years old, you are reminded that, wow, whenever I smell hot pepper, I think about, this food. Whenever I hear this sound, I think about this moment. So just take us back.
Oh, wow. So I grew up in Eastern Kenya at a village called Kaba. Well, it's not called Kaba, but Kaba is the closest to what most people would know, but it was a little bit in the interior of Kaba.
Yeah. Which county in Kenya is this?
Is it Machakos County?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
It should be Machakos County.
Okay.
And so between those years, so half of them I lived at home with my mom and my other siblings, and at the time, it was just me and my brother. We are 4 siblings. I'm the firstborn. And my mom woke up every day between 6 and 6:05. Like, she was consistent.
6 and 6:05?
Yeah. Between 6 and 6:05 every morning she was up.
Yeah.
And she expected us to be up at the same time.
Yeah.
And the first smell we woke up to used to be her chai. My mom loves tea, to this day. So she would be boiling tea and making noise at us and reminding us why if you don't wake up, we're going to end up poor, because the Bible says, about the lazy person who, what happens to them. So that's one of the smells. Like when you say what smells remind me of that period, that's one of them. But I loved chapati. So when I was, does it have to be between 5 and 10?
No, just...
Because I have a chapati story.
Yeah, everybody loves chapati. Most people love chapati. I love chapati too. But tell us your chapati story.
Yes. So when I was in high school, I was in the home science club.
Yeah.
And I still don't remember what thought process I went through, but I figured that I could make chapatis and sell during school. Like when parents came to school for whatever reason, we had opportunities to sell chapatis. And then I discovered that if I fried sausages and sold the sausages, but then used the oil to cook chapatis, it had sort of a flavor to it.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So it was like my secret ingredient that I accidentally discovered.
Yeah.
And since then, I was known for making like really good chapatis, and that was sort of my first business when I think about it.
Wow.
So the smell of sausages, the smell of chapati, for that
Farmer's
reason.
sausages.
Yeah, Farmer's choice.
Farmer's choice,
yeah. Then the other smell that comes to mind is kienyeji chicken. My mom kept chicken, and we ate chicken a lot. I discovered how expensive chicken was when I moved to Nairobi later in life, but we just used to chase whatever chicken we want and cook and eat.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so funny how the chasing of the chicken happened right when a guest had arrived.
Yes.
It's when your parents would tell you, okay, you see that?
She haven't spotted
that white chicken, or that yellowish chicken, or that orange cock,
Yes, yeah. But we can't talk about my growing up without talking about mangoes.
Oh.
So we also grew mangoes, and during mango season, my brother and I would compete on who can eat the most.
Oh.
So we'd each take a jug of water and a knife and go sit under the tree. So we just pluck and eat.
Who ended up eating the most mangoes?
I always won.
So did you?
But he thinks he did.
Yeah. That's so
There was
fun.
always a conflict, at the end.
Your younger brother or older?
He's younger.
Brother?
He's a year younger. Yeah.
Okay. Did you eat raw mangoes with achari? You know achari, the kachumbari, the salt and pepper?
We didn't have that kind because so we had like 4 different kinds of mangoes. We had the Tommy mango, there was the apple mango, then there's a local mango.
Yeah.
And the one from Mombasa, I think, is it Embedodo?
My Embedodo, yeah.
So we had those 4.
Yeah.
But our neighbors had the kind that you eat with pili-pili. So we almost always ate ours ripe.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
I miss
And then also
Kenyan
discovered they
fruits.
can burn you. Like one time, if you pluck it, that juice can burn you. I didn't know that.
Oh,
but
wow.
we used to get a lot of those burns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. One thing I miss while here in the States is the taste of Kenyan or African fruits in general. Even if you go to Uganda, similar to Kenya, you get pineapple and it's so tasty and juicy.
Yeah.
But if you go to the farmers market here or the stores here, you get a pineapple, but it came from El Salvador 5 months ago, so it's been sitting in the fridge somewhere, so it's not
the same
as tasty, Yeah, I love that. So then, how did you move from?
I'm not done.
Okay.
What I told you? What I told you was the taste.
Yes.
You asked about the sound too.
I want to hear all of it.
Yeah. So I don't know where dust comes in, but when I think about that period of my time, I interacted with so much dust. I had allergies. My mother didn't care. We had to sweep every morning. The sounds of my father used to like Lingala music and this Mombasa, the Mombasa kind of music. I can't remember the name.
Is it Taarab?
Yeah, Taarab. And he had cassettes that he would put.
Wape,
and
such songs.
And then he would just watch the women dancing.
I love that.
Awilo Longomba.
Kupe Bibamba.
Yes, like I could sing them. I could literally sing while watching over our cows and goats.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So, and then the morning when Amka Kumekucha, that's how you knew it's time to wake up.
Yeah, like those were like national wake-up calls.
Exactly, So they kind of created habits in us without knowing.
Yeah.
We're just listening to those sounds.
Yeah. I love that. Well, share with us how you moved from Machakos County to Nairobi, and how that led to you starting, Bongo journals and Kiddie World.
Yeah. Well, it's a long story, but I'll try and shorten it. So I lived with my mom and my siblings until I was 17 in the village. They were still married, her and my dad, but my father lived in Nairobi. That was very common growing up, where the husband lived in Nairobi and made the money, and then the mom stayed in the village with the kids. So would often visit my father in Nairobi. I think whenever schools closed, would probably go for a week or 2 weeks, but not all the time. This is if they were okay. But if my father misbehaved according to my mom's standards, then we wouldn't go.
That happens even now.
Yeah.
We do that to our spouses,
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
And the kids become...
They suffer
the most.
in the process,
Yeah. And then they learn and they do that to their spouses.
Exactly.
And the cycle continues.
The cycle continues, yeah. But then we can stop the cycle
Yeah.
if we decide. So
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't think the cycle is ever going to stop.
it
Because
doesn't
even
stop.
if you as an individual choose to say that, okay,
Yeah.
we are going to have fun no matter what, no matter if my husband misbehaves or
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
when it comes to family
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
where we are all supposed to do something together, let's do it, you know?
Yeah.
I think many people forget how life is short, you
Yeah.
know, and how a lot of life needs to be spent enjoying, you
Yes,
know.
yeah.
And that's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep
Sure.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, one time when I was in high school,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed physics, the subject
Yeah.
in school. I remember physics and math. I was good with the sciences, except biology. I did not like biology at all. So I noticed that I had sort of an hyper focus on things that I liked. So because I loved particular subjects, I would do very well, but the ones that I didn't like, I failed terribly. So
Yeah.
my parents never understood why would you have a 30% and a 98% in math, you know, and 30% in geography. Oh,
Yeah.
I just have no interest in that subject.
Yeah.
So one of the times we did a school trip. I think I can't remember why we did the trip, but we did the trip to JKUAT University. And I loved Jomo Kenyatta University. Remember, before this, the only exposure I had was the village and maybe visiting my dad. But getting to Jomo Kenyatta University, I remember thinking, oh, wow, I would love to go to school here. And just that one instance, I knew that after high school, that's where I wanted to go.
I wish my primary school took me to even Maseno University.
You know,
Instead, they took me to the airport. So now I travel a lot, you know.
That's a good thing.
As kids, we were taken to the airport to see the planes landing and leaving. They took us there so many times. So I was just like, I'm either going to be a passenger there or a pilot, you know.
Yeah, but
I have to be
I'm
there.
going back there, yeah. So it
Often,
does something
you know?
to your mind when you're a child. And you see and you're like, oh, wow, there's a whole world, you know, out here.
Yeah.
And so I came home and told my dad, I want to go to Jomo Kenyatta University. And my father told me, if you can get at least a B plane and above, I will do what it takes to get you to Jomo Kenyatta University. But he didn't think I meant it. I don't know, yes. So when I finished high school, I had a B plus, and I told him, you know, you told me to get a B plane and above, and you are going to get me to Jomo Kenyatta University. And he changed on me, so he tried getting me to go to Daystar and USIU, and I told him, no, I'm not going. I am going to Jomo Kenyatta University. And we had a back and forth for the longest period. And I think my mom, I can't remember at what point he decided to just take me to JKUAT where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And when that happened, that's the moment I moved from the village to Nairobi.
To live your dream, literally.
To live my dream, yeah. But then my dad wanted to control the process so much, he chose the subject for me. He told me the future is IT. So you're going to do IT.
Your dad is the guy,
Yeah. And then
if he's paying for it, you have to do what he wants you to do.
Yeah.
I love that.
But I didn't mind. I was like, okay, I'm going to Jomo Kenyatta University. I'm happy. I'll do
that IT.
Yeah, I'll do that IT. So I went, I did a degree in computer technology. I was there for 4 years. Then I lived with him for a bit. I didn't have such a good relationship with both of my parents, you know, because my dad was absent a lot growing up. And even when I lived with him, I barely saw him sometimes. And my mom was I think she was frustrated. She was overwhelmed because she had to take up the role of raising the kids alone.
Yeah. How many kids?
We are 4.
4.
We're 4. Yeah. So this period, and then I was also, so I had transitioned from living with an authoritarian mom. My mom, whatever she decided, that's what everybody was doing.
Yeah.
But my father was just not there. So I transitioned from this to living with someone who...
You had your freedom.
Yeah.
You are autonomous. You could do what you needed to do.
Yeah. And I don't know, I felt like I needed direction, but he just was not providing any. So that led to, I finished campus when I was still young. I think I was 20 by the time I finished campus. I got my first job. I was fired 6 months later because I was spending too much time on Facebook. And after that, I hated social media.
Yeah.
But then after quitting the job, I'm trying to skip the parts that don't really matter. I got my first IT job in 2010. And I was in IT for 4 years. But during this time, I also got married in 2011 and had my first child January of 2012. And I think as a woman, just having children changes you.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So a year later, my ex-husband used to travel a lot. And so I found myself in a situation where I'm newly married, have a child, and I have to spend time with this child and do my IT job. I was doing very well in my IT job, but then I barely spent time with him, with Jaden. Jaden is my firstborn. So I started reading books. Well, and I think that's one of the blessings of not having someone to direct you. You explore, I think I always had it in me, having that growth mindset. I was like, no, I want to be a better mom. I want to be present for this child. What do I do? So I started reading books, and I came across Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read Think and Grow Rich. So I was reading these books, and they were just transforming my thinking. That was in 2013, heading to 2014, I mean. And I realized that if I moved more towards being a business owner, then maybe I could have more freedom. I could have, well, not really freedom, but I could have more time with my child while also earning. And when all of this was happening, I also got into church. And I started developing a relationship with God and learning to pray about stuff. So I was praying and asking God to show me what direction do I take. But I knew I needed to leave employment if I was going to be there for my child. I think my plan was to eventually go back to employment because I liked IT. But it was just conflicting with this being so busy and not being available for my kids. So one time in 2014, I did a road trip in South Africa.
From Kenya to South Africa?
No.
Oh, you flew to South Africa?
Yeah, I flew to South Africa. And then one of my ex-bosses, he's called Joel. Joel was a director for Technobrain South Africa region. Joel gave me a car. And it was just me, my child, and my ex-husband. I was treating them. I don't know why I needed to take the trip. I loved adventure, but I was like, okay, I got a good bonus that month. And I decided, let's just do a road trip at the time. And I noticed everywhere we went, there was a place for Jaden to play, which was not common in Kenya. There were places for people to hang out on Sunday, and your child can play while you guys have conversations. And that's where I got my first idea for Kiddie World business. Then when I went back to Nairobi, because the trip was in October, as soon as we got back to Nairobi, I placed an order for my first equipment because I didn't want to wait too long and change my mind or overanalyze. Then I finally quit in 2015. Well, I was pregnant with my second child. That was a push because I was like, okay, now I have another child, and I finding myself in a situation where I don't have that much time to spend with them. So that's how Kiddie World was born. Initially.
Yeah, to not only help you, but also help other parents. Spend time with their kids. And Kenya, growing up in Kenya though, I would say maybe 20 years ago, there were more playing grounds.
Yes,
and there was also spaces for kids to be kids.
Snatch them and build apartments.
Yeah, there are apartment buildings everywhere in Kenya now. And where there are no apartments, there are bars and clubs, you know. So you can see the reflection of how Kenya is growing in people's health. And also people's mental health. You know? Because I believe in most estates, there needs to be a space specific for kids to just run around and play. And even when my son wanted to learn to skate, I was constantly anxious because he would leave and skate on the road. I'm like, what if he gets knocked down by a car? I don't think parents need to live with that kind of anxiety. So it was one of the push I had to create spaces where parents could connect with their kids and the kids could connect with their peers. And even just learning that the best way to bond with children is through fun, fun, play. That's how they develop. And that's how you build a bond as a parent. You're creating memories for them that will live with them forever. And it's a change I wanted to be part of. I love that. So then how you started Kiddie what do you call
World.
Kiddie World. So Kiddie World. And then Bongo Journals. So how did you evolve from Kiddie World to adding Bongo Journals as one of your entrepreneurial ventures?
So it's interesting. So when I was touching Kiddie World, something else was happening in another part of my life. Like my marriage was ending, and I felt like I needed to channel. I realized that I could use the pain and channel it into something
productive, something meaningful.
And it was very intentional because when I read at my journals at the time, that's exactly what I would write. And I would just remind myself, no, this pain will go away, but I want to birth something new. And why I'm telling you this is because it's connected to the process for Bongo Journals. In one of my goals, I'm very goal-oriented. So I used to carry this goal card that had my future goals. I just carry it around.
Wow.
I would write all the things I want to achieve, the main ones, so that they were constantly ahead of me. And one of them, I always wanted to be an author. But I thought I would have to wait until later in life, when I'm older to do it. But then in 2020, when COVID happened, you can imagine my business involved people meeting together. So
physically.
Yes, and for a year, we didn't have an income. I remember the savings we had. They always tell you to set aside an emergency fund. Initially, I had set aside for 3 months. Looking back, I don't think that was smart, because I could only support myself and the staff and the business for those 3 months. But after that, of course, I was forced to have to maybe sell some of the equipment. But the thing is, during that period, I felt like my world was falling apart. I needed to provide for my children because I'm the sole breadwinner for them. And at the same time, since I got divorced in 2018, I had never spent time really processing. But then during 2020, because I was forced to face myself and be alone and not be busy, I found myself processing all of that.
They say that mourning,
Yeah.
Mourning. There's a different word that is used for mourning.
Yeah, grief.
Grief.
Yes.
Grief comes in waves.
Yes.
And
yeah.
And also grief.
So this was a big wave.
Grief comes in waves.
Yeah.
And it can come even years later.
Yeah.
You have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. Even if you have a loss, no matter what loss it is, it could be a spouse, a marriage, a family member, a job. Losing a job also is attached to some grief,
Yes, yeah.
Losing money,
Yeah.
So carry on, share with us.
Yeah. So there's a period of time when my kids had to go live with my mother, and that broke me, because I knew that's what I needed to do. Maybe that's what was best for them at that time. But as a parent, as a mom, I always wanted my kids around me when I can. And just the fact that I sent them there because I was struggling to provide for them, that crushed me. Yeah. But then during that period, I started to create content. So I would wake up every morning and write on my laptop. I'm always writing stuff to this day. I like to create every morning when I can. Not every morning now. I'll be lying if I say that. But I used to be consistent at the time. And one time I realized that the one thing that helps me pull through is journaling. And I was also teaching my kids at the time, like, just write down, because they would have all these emotions, complex emotions they were processing. And sometimes I would ask them, and you can tell they have more to say, but they probably don't have the words. So I taught them to write. And I realized, oh, wow, what if I created a resource for other parents to help their children learn to process their emotions too? Maybe we can teach our children emotional awareness from an early age. My kids used to see me goal setting, so they would also scribble down their goals sometimes. So I put all of it in one journal. That's the time when I was alone, and I remember thinking, okay, I have like 4 or 5 months, by myself. And it was all like one of the few moments that I've had real help with the kids. So I just looked at it as, okay, now I have help with the children. I can focus on something for a while. So I started developing, and I would give it to my friends and have them use with their children. Then I would collect feedback and then refine. But then I realized that I could also create, because I'm very passionate about parents intentionally creating that bond with their kids. It's something I never had growing up, but I feel like it's one of those things that is critical. If you can find a way to bond with your children. So for me, that's when I realized I can create one for parents as well, that parents can, while their kids are journaling, they can also journal at the same time, and kids learn mostly by observing their parents. So if they see you write, at the same time, then you can help them create the habit. And then realizing that a lot of good habits are hard to create. But if you can help your child to make it a lifestyle from a young age, then maybe they can carry it on in future. So that was the driving motivation in my head. So we created for kids, adults, and teens over a period of about 1.5 years. Bongo Journals was launched in 2021, September of 2021. And it's been received so well. I think the first time I took it to Naivas was one of the people who really took us up. They had an authors program, a Kenyan authors program, where they're promoting Kenyan authors, and we were selected to be one of the people to feature. Then after that, we went to Textbook Center, and from the feedback we've been getting, what we have now is the 3rd edition. Yeah, so it's been great so far.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it stopped being something I needed to wait a bit until I'm older to do.
Yeah.
I just did it. And again, it was born out of that pain of 2020 of loss and channeling to something that I can say, okay, when I see this journal, I remember how I pulled through.
I always believe that where there is chaos, there is opportunity.
Yes, you just need to dig and find it to do.
You have to dig through the rubble.
Yes,
you have to dig through the rubble. And you might not see it initially, but it's there, it's there. And the opportunity that exists is whether you want to use the same debris to build something great, or if you want to throw everything and bring new material and build something.
Oh, wow, I love that analogy.
So it's on you to decide. So if there's another Kenyan or African lady that is watching our conversation today and is really moved and maybe even going through the same struggle that you are going through a few years ago, what would you tell them when it comes to not taking your suffering, like in your case, divorce, your business is going down, and not letting that be the end of your story? How would you tell them that it's worth trying no matter what?
Because there's so many things I could tell them. Number one, don't avoid it. Like, go through the pain. Allow yourself to break. I would cry at night, and during the day I'll call the clients. Allow yourself to break. It's okay. So giving yourself permission to go through it and to ask the right questions, because I would ask God, what do you want me to learn? What do you want me to get out of this experience? Because sometimes we ask the wrong question, and that's the answer you get. When you ask, why me? Then that's the answer you get. But then I was also very intentional on building mental toughness. So one of the things I did, I took up motorcycling. I used to ride bikes. So that's the other part of my life that maybe we can talk about in a different...
I didn't know. So are you going to be biking here too?
I will, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I will. Because I remember when I was starting Kiddie World at around the same time, that's when I also took up motorcycling. And one time, someone told me that they thought I couldn't learn how to ride because I just kept dropping my bike initially. And that was enough fuel to get me to ride. And I was practicing in Rongai. With those Machakos. I would get on the bike every day. The first time I rode after my training, I purposed that I was going to ride every day until the fear was gone. And I would wake up. I dropped the bike, I think 5 out of those times, because it was bigger than me. I had to tiptoe, and sometimes I would panic and I would fall. But just that falling and getting up, falling and getting up, and you're training your brain. It's not just a physical training.
You're training your brain that you can do it, no matter how many times you fall.
Exactly. So it made me fearless. If I wasn't doing that, I was out running. And if I say I'm going to run for 30 minutes, I would add an extra 5 minutes. So just to train my brain that you can do, just to cheat your brain that to stop following what it's telling you, really.
You're tricking yourself to stop playing victim.
Exactly. Don't be a sissy. Get up. You're not the first, you're not the last person.
I love that. Do me a favor now, because we are coming towards the end of our conversation today. One of the things I wanted to talk about was Madaraka Festival. We are doing Madaraka Festival on August 30th at Pier 62 at the Seattle Waterfront. I've been doing this for 11 years. This is the 11th year. And so I want you to look at this camera and invite everybody who is watching this.
You said August 30th, Pier 62.
At the Seattle Waterfront Park. August 30th. It's a Saturday. It's the Labor Day weekend. Pier 62
Okay.
at the Seattle Waterfront.
Pier 62, Seattle Waterfront, August 30th.
August 30th.
Okay.
Now look there and
Yeah.
invite everybody to join us.
Okay. So mambo ni matatu. August 30th, Pier 62 at the Seattle Waterfront.
Yes.
Bring all your friends and family. There's going to be a lot of fun. So karibuni.
Asante. And also look at the same camera and invite everybody who is watching to subscribe to the channel to support Madaraka Festival.
Okay. To subscribe to the channel. Yeah. So if you just find yourself scrolling on your phone and you see any one of Simon's videos, subscribe. Just hit subscribe and share with everyone you know. And let's spread all this motivation around. Is it motivation or inspiration? Inspiration, yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
And then I also want you to look at that camera and let people know how they can support you. How can they support Bongo Journals? How can they support Kiddie World?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And also how they can they stay in touch with you?
Yeah.
And if they just want to stay in touch with you.
With me. Well, I'm very shy on social media as a person.
Yeah.
But
it already got you, kicked out of a job,
Yeah, it could be a trauma thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we are Kiddie World Kenya on social media. Please go Can I do it again?
Yes, of course.
Can I do it again? Are you going to edit it out?
No.
Oh my God, Simon.
but that's the beauty of this. This is everything is raw, unfiltered, and it's not live, but we are not editing it, and it's just beautiful to have a real conversation. Yeah.
Okay, so we are at Kiddie World Kenya on Instagram and Facebook. Just visit our page, see what we have. We do events of all sizes, from birthday parties, festivals, that event to celebrate your achievement. We have done corporate events. So if you work for a company, they have a fun day or a bring your child to work day. Please just visit our page. You'll find our phone number or inbox us and somebody will get in touch with you. For Bongo Journals, walk into any textbook center in Nairobi. We're in all branches in Nairobi. And for Naivas, you can find us all across Nairobi. All across Kenya. Bongo Journals, specifically Bongo Kiddie Journals and Bongo Adult Journals.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also just want to congratulate you for being such an incredible human being and for being such an accomplished entrepreneur. It's not easy,
Yeah,
Many people give up almost immediately after they start a business,
That's true,
yeah. Yeah, but for you, you've stayed put, and the sky is not even the limit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you again, and thank you to everybody who joined us for today's conversation. My guest has been Victoria Musyoki. And please take a minute, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and look down below in the comment section and leave us with your comment. Which part of Victoria's story inspired you today? And also, don't forget to join us on August 30th at Pier 62 for the 11th anniversary of Madaraka Festival. I will be headlining Madaraka Festival for the first time, so you should not miss it. Peace.